The Darkling can take me. Hey guys, Ashley here. Today, I have a review for you. What? Like, I'm a booktuber. Wow, I actually read this freaking book. Ha! If you have been following me on social media, you will know that I have been reading this book for a solid 8 months. 8 months. But now I have finished it. I have thoughts. This is my review. So today we are doing a review of King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. If you do not know what King of Scars is, this is a following sequel-esque series duology to the Grisha trilogy and Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. But yeah, so if you haven't read the Six of Crows or the Grisha trilogy, you should probably leave because I'm not gonna beat around that. So leave. Like I said, King of Scars is her new duology. It follows Nikolai as he is battling this darkness within him that the Darkling puts inside him, and he's just battling that. He's dealing with his monster in him. The monster is me, and I am the monster. If you're wondering why this edition is different, this is my exclusive special edition Illumicrate version. It's very pretty. It's gold. It's nice. Spoilers, it's just gonna be all spoilers. A very small portion of this will be my thoughts non-spoilerly. Overall, listen, like I said, it took me 8 months to read this book. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I love the Six of Crows duology and the Grisha trilogy so much. They're so very close and dear to my heart. And I feel like why those series do so well is because Leigh builds up so much great character development throughout both of those series. You just really get to know those characters really intimately and deeply, and the character development is definitely the strengths in those books. This one, I feel like it lacked, and even though we're following characters that we are familiar with and we know, some of them we are introduced to, I feel like it really does suffer from a lack of not really getting to know those characters or have any sense of like character development with them. Even Nikolai, I was really disappointed. We barely see him in this book at all, and just he doesn't really go through that character development as much as you think he would, considering that he is, you know, he has this monster deep within him. And it also, there's just this point right in the middle. Like when I was reading it, I was taking the notes, it was all good, it was a great time, but then it hits this point in the middle, and it's not really a twist of sorts, it's just a change in direction of the story and the plot, and I was like, oh, this is where we're going? I don't think I like it that much, and that's where my slump kind of hit. And then fast forward 8 months later, I never finished reading until this week where I was like, I'm gonna finish reading this, and then I was just like, again, no spoilers, but honestly, this whole book, feel like I'm like, what do we do? What did we do? We didn't do anything, and it was all worth it for the ending. Like, all this was built up to lead to what happened at the end, and I'm like, okay. And I did get spoiled to what was gonna happen at the end a little bit, but even so, it was like something happened. I was like, okay, there it is, but then it kept going, and I was like, oh wait, no, this is where it, but yeah, I think that's mostly why I didn't like this one as much as I anticipated. I hyped it up so much before, mainly because of the lack of character development and just the main part of the story and where it went. I just wasn't satisfied. And like I said, Nikolai is barely in it. Like, I basically lived through this book for mentions of the Darkling. Okay, that's all I can really say without spoiling too much, because everything I want to say is about to be a spoiler, and you should just really leave. You should leave. Leave. Get out. Goodbye. Okay, peeps who've read this book probably 8 months ago, I've been waiting for a review on it. The Darkling is back. The Darkling is back. He's back. He's back. He's back. If you know me, I am Darkling trash. Exhibit from my Twitter, which you should definitely follow me, at ashleyoutpaged, for my many tweets of the Darkling saying that the Darkling should take my soul. Here's a piece of fan art. Hello, this is the best thing I've ever seen. I am gone. Someone tell the Darkling to take me. When someone asks your biases, and I'd be like, the Darkling, bish. Alina Starkov is gonna be half Shu in the adaptation. Is this an invitation for the Darkling to take me? I think yes. This also means we get to see my favorite little moody, rude, punk, bitch ass boy, the Darkling. Me taking notes for my King of Scars review is really just me freaking out whenever the Darkling is mentioned. Bitch. I'll save that for later though. Anyway, okay, like I said before, I was really, like, just really into taking notes for this, but then at that point, when we reached the halfway point, I stopped taking notes. It's not going to be my usual thorough review that I usually do. I'm just going to hit some key points, aka the Darkling. It started out really strong. I have my notes here in my journal. Like, that first character was some, like, fairy tale myth shit. I was into it. You know, we see this figure in this farm barn thing. He's eaten something. It's very fairy tale-esque like, and he's turning into this creature, and then Zoya like comes in and takes him out, and she's like, watch your head, your highness, which I made a note was in capitalization, your highness, which, ooh, that was just really eerie. I really like that opening first chapter. It was a great opening first chapter. It was perfect. And then there's a lot of things happening. Like I said, a lot of things happened, but what happened in this book, I don't know. They're trying to cure Nikolai of this darkness, which eventually leads them to the fold, which eventually led them to these saints, these things that were happening with the saints. They're not really, they're dead, not really, they're not dead. They're in this in-between weird afterlife, weird limbo land thing, and they're still alive, and I just wasn't a fan, guys. I really just wasn't a fan. It was like Jurian and Elizabeth. I wasn't a fan. I didn't like where this was going. I didn't like that. It just was really weird and felt kind of out of place with Leigh's normal story slash pacing. It didn't feel like, it didn't feel. And like a lot of it was so fast paced, and I feel like we didn't even really get to stay with these saints for a long enough time to get, like, I guess, attached to them. So like when that twist happened where they turned up being evil and they were really trying to resurrect the Darkling, I like expected that, but I wasn't like shocked, because again, like, we barely spent any time there, but also we spent a lot of time there. But it was just there was no development. Like I said before, this lacked from development, and I just didn't feel that. But also I did, because I was like, oh, we're resurrecting the Darkling. Okay, that's fine. Like I said, anytime they mentioned the Darkling in this book, I screamed, aka to the chambers the Darkling had built. Yes, the Darkling. And we also find out that, so at one point Zoya and the crew are gathered outside, and there's this cult with the apparat. That bitch the apparat. Like, you should have killed him. You know he's not gonna do good things. And what is it? It's this like cult rising the Darkling. It's a cult. It's a cult. I'm like, there's a cult. That's bad. But like, please, I do not support cults, but like, please put me in that cult. Like, yes. Yes. It says these people wore black. And I literally wrote, bitch, they worshiping the Darkling. Foreshadowing. I also wrote, they be forming a little Darkling cult, and I ain't mad about it. Oops. This is the quality of my notes, friends. Like, how? Yeah, so they're all led by this monk, Yuri. Can you hear my heartbeat? We knew this bitch Yuri would come into play, didn't we? Didn't we? I'm sorry, I'm just talking about the Darkling, and this is not a thorough review, but like, really, what happened in this book other than the fact that to resurrect the Darkling? So we do follow Nina. I will say that these flashbacks that we were having, especially like Han and Zoya, like the little bits of Zoya we got were phenomenal, especially all those parts about her past and how she was going to be forced to be in this like arranged marriage at a very young age because her family was struggling and she had to do that for them. You kind of just see this deeper parts of Zoya, and I really liked those parts of Zoya. But again, I was disappointed that we didn't dive into her character as much as I thought we would, because obviously in the Grisha trilogy with me, Zoya, she's like this hard-ass bitchy thing. Alina is not a fan of her, and then she kind of like comes around towards the ending, and you find out why that was, because her hometown where her aunt, I believe her aunt was residing, was destroyed by the Darkling, and it really affected her. So I thought maybe in King of Scars we would further develop into her character and kind of see that softer side of her, which we did, but not as much as I'd hoped to, honestly. So I'm hoping that in the second one we do get to see more things develop between Zoya and just other characters. But Nina, my girl Nina, I feel like we spent more time with Nina in this book, or maybe I was just so bored by like the saint stuff, I just really paid attention to Nina. But yeah, so we're following Nina, and when we open up with the book in Nina, it's so devastating. She's carrying around Matthias's body for 2 months and like using her Grisha powers to like preserve it. but also like, ooh, that's so sad. That's so sad. No. So we follow her with just dealing with those emotions, and it was surprising to see like she got over that. Not got over it, but we didn't dwell in Matthias's death as much as I thought she would be struggling afterwards, because then she gets kind of caught up in this plot point, which is that other plot point in the book where she is at this facility factory, what is it, with these people, these like nun-like people who are basically capturing Grisha women and using their bodies to like inseminate them and get them like high on Jodaparam. This is actual cult shit happening. She gets caught up in that, trying to save them, and then along the way she meets Han, who's also a secret Grisha. And can I just say, when she met Han, and then she would talk to, is that how you say her name? Han? I don't know. But when she would talk to her, and then she would just like randomly describe like intricate parts of her face and her hair and like how nice her hair looked, I'm like, yo, if Han and Nina don't become a thing, I will be very like, I felt that, I feel it, I still feel it. This is the ship I support. I ship this. I really liked Han's character, what we got of her. She's like feisty, and like I liked her. I liked all her scenes. It was all great. Their whole story and just trying to rescue the Grisha, I was a fan of. I liked it. Ooh, plot twist. Han is the daughter of that evil man that Nina like beat up in Six of Crows. Like, it's that trope, like the girl you're befriending / possibly may love. This is my interpretation. Her father is like the enemy. Oh. Nikolai and Zoya's character, all of that, I can kind of see where it's going in the sequel. Nina, I'm not really sure what's gonna happen there, so we'll see. Again, I'm sorry I'm not doing a thorough review. Like, I feel like not a lot happens, so yeah. After Nikolai and Zoya fight off the Saints, bitch, she kept the Darkling's body. His body is there. They need a vessel. His body is there. They defeat the Saints. Yep, they use her like bee thorn things against her. It's done. It's over. Woo. Oh my gosh, Isaac. Can we talk about Isaac? He was such like a little soft being of a human. So basically, while Nikolai and Zoya, they're like stuck in the fold, nobody knows where they are. So the rest of their crew at the royal palace comes up with this plan to use Isaac as a double for the king. They kind of tailor him to look like the king. He's just a soft being of a human. He did not deserve any of that. He didn't deserve that. I knew something fishy was going on. I didn't think he would die. He got stabbed, and I was like, why? I feel like out of everybody, he experienced the most character development, and not to say that it was a lot, but I fell for Isaac. Leigh Bardugo gave me this being soft boy Isaac, and then she took him away. Why? See, like, this is what I missed in King of Scars, is this group feeling, especially like in Six of Crows. You know, we have our group, we have our crew, and this one everyone's kind of separated, so we don't really have a crew. But then when Nikolai and Zoya kind of reunite with everybody at the royal palace, and even though that's only a couple chapters, like, their dynamic, and I guess the political dynamic, Radka, and just all the, it's just, ew, I love it. I love the political intrigue, yes, which I'm really hoping the second book is more about, because it's so interesting to me. So yeah, basically, you know, Isaac was killed, and you know, Zoya and Nikolai are back. They brought Yuri back, but it's not him. Yuri had gotten his wish. He'd help his saint return. Like, okay. So many of my old friends gathered in one place, said the Darkling, from a mouth of a loyal, gullible boy, another fool who had loved him. It's good to be home. I was sitting next to my dad when I read this, and I was just like silently like, the Darkling can't take me. I'm sure there were a lot of more crucial key moments in this book I didn't talk about, but like, as of now, that's all I can think about. This whole book was set up for Leigh to bring back the Darkling. As much as I'm thrilled with that, because you know I'm a hoe for this dark murdering bitch, I will say that I hope this revival of him doesn't ruin him, because I do really like his story arc in the Grisha trilogy. How he died and how that was handled very tragically, it was full circle for the Darkling. I really like his character, and I like what Leigh did with it. So I'm hoping her bringing him back won't ruin him in that sense, or feel just like like all these reboots happening right now in movie and cinema. We're really excited that they're rebooting this thing, but then when we watch the reboot, it's like, I didn't need that. that. Hopefully he lives up to, or he just like dies immediately in the second book, because like as much as I love him, I don't want him ruined, you know? It took me so long to read King of Scars. If you're watching this review, I really appreciate you. And again, I'm sorry this wasn't a great review. It was just me yelling about the Darkling, because I'm a hoe. Here's the thing. Zoya has this weird saint in her that's kind of a monster, and Nikolai basically is a monster with a Darkling's like weird soul in him still. Oh my god, fate meant to be. Like, y'all both have monsters in each other. Like, kiss. Oh, another Nikolai Zoya moment that just that touched my heart. She says, every lover I've taken has asked about those scars. I make up a new story for each of them. Nikolai's like, and what did I do to earn the truth? It's just the vulnerability. Those little moments, these little character moments. Oh, that's why Leigh Bardugo is the queen. That's why she's the queen. I don't think this is a bad book. I think the Grisha trilogy and Six of Crows lead so much high expectation when picking up King of Scars that it gets overshadowed in a way. And I'm curious to see, a lot of people obviously have read the Grisha trilogy alone and have read Six of Crows alone, including me. I read Six of Crows before the Grisha trilogy and I had no problem falling in love with it and into the world. I'm curious to see, and I highly doubt it, if anyone could pick up King of Scars and love it as much, just because so much of it, I feel like, relies on just past feelings, especially like the Darkling. If you read this and didn't read the Grisha trilogy and know like who the Darkling is and like how much power he held and this like weird hypnotic thing he has over people, if you read this and then saw that he came back to life, you'd be like, okay, it's this evil force everyone is like obviously afraid of. Do I care that he's back, kind of thing? I'm just curious to see how this stands on its own. I feel like it can't. Gave it like 3.5 out of 5 stars. Maybe if I read it quickly and didn't give it an 8th month like waiting period, I would have given it 4 stars, but right now it's 3.5 for me. But yeah, basically I'm a hoe for the Darkling, and this satisfied my Darkling needs. He can take me. Alright friends, yes, that was my review of King of Scars. Very messy, very all over the place. I haven't done this in a while. It's been a while since I did a little rant review. Yay. Sure, I left out a lot of things. One, because my memory is just foggy of the first half. Again, read it 8 months ago. So feel free to flood the comments with all your spoilery, Darkling, hoeing, mess of the comments. What are your thoughts? How do you feel? I know a lot of people don't like the Darkling. Me for one, I'm a hoe. We already know this. This has been established for the past however many minutes this video is now. But let me know your thoughts below. How did you like this? How many stars did you get it? What do you expect in the sequel? We're obviously going to follow this political intrigue within Ravnica still. There's a lot of weird dynamics happening there. Trust between countries is still kind of like, it's going to happen. How do you feel? Do you also ship Han and Nina like me? Because again, like that is definitely a thing. If it's not a thing, like they got a really good friendship happening, which I think she needs. Nina needs a good like girl friend there beside her, like strong female empowerment, yes, but also like if you want to like get together, I'm not gonna complain about that either. All right friends, that was my review of King of Scars. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for dealing with my hoish ways with the Darkling always online ever. I wore black today to represent my little murdering bish. Alright guys, my name is Ashley, this is ashleyoutpaged, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! Thank you! Woo!